Good evening. We call this meeting of the Galt City Council for August 18th, 2015 to order. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Payne, present. Councilmember Hewer. Here. Councilmember Campion.
Here.
Councilmember Powers. Here. Mayor Cruz.
Here. Would you all rise for a silent prayer? Vice Mayor Payne, would you lead us in the flag salute, please?
I would be happy to. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you read the video statement, please?
This meeting of the Galt City Council will be cablecast on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel, on Comcast Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse. The meeting is also webcast at www.sasmetrocable.tv. Tonight's meeting will air this Friday and Saturday at 9 a.m. This meeting is also closed captioned. A DVD copy is available for checkout from any library branch.
Thank you. Do we have any agenda approval, additions, and/or deletions?
I would like to pull E5 for discussion.
Putting E5 from consent.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would like to ask if we can move up G3 to before scheduled matters.
Okay. Council, is that all right? G3, the library expansion?
Yes.
Okay, we will move that up to, how about immediately after consent?
Sounds good.
All right, presentation. History makers.
Good evening, Council. My name is Michelle Bustamante, and I'm here tonight representing History Makers Foundation and our school program. And last year we were awarded through the community grant $3,000. So I would like to give a report on what we did for that generous grant. Thank you for allowing us. For the $3,000, we spent $1,600 of that on supplies for our program. We were able to purchase basketball hoops for outside, large screen television, and a new PlayStation 4. And there was also some additional club supplies that we spent money on, art supplies, stuff like that. And there was another $104 for printing costs. So just signage, application packets for our incoming students, application packets for our volunteers, about 35 volunteers at our program. And then the other $900 was used for program administration costs. So we really appreciate your guys' community support, but it's really hard to just throw out some numbers and explain for what we do. So we put together a PowerPoint just to show you just a better scope of what it is that we do there. It's just really quick. So. Each week we feed all of the children that come to our program, and no one ever goes hungry. Each week we provide exercise program where they get nutrition, safety information, and just have a good time outside. We usually do group games. Homework club and computer club is available every single week for all of our children where they get tutoring, and from a lot of the high school students come and volunteer at our program. We offer enrichment classes, everything from art, science, Legos, engineering, mixed media, mentoring. So we always have just a lot of fun time intermixed with the homework clubs. Just some real quick stats. We offered a total of 66 program days. We had over 100 children come through the center last year. And we offered a variety of different clubs, as I mentioned, art, fitness, media, cooking, mentoring, character lesson program, homework club, and science club. One of the most important things we feel for these children is that the community gives to them for your guys' grant. So we really make it a priority to teach them to give back. So once a month they have opportunities to give back to our community. Where they were feeding the homeless of our community. There's another picture of when we put on a Thanksgiving dinner free for the seniors in our community. And also we helped with the POW program at Fairside's Garden. So they grew these vegetables and we transplanted them over there. And then the most important thing we do with these kids is we just have them have fun. So there's just some really cool activities. We had in our Fenmore, a movie day, just hanging out. So we really enjoy their company and we love having them at our center. And then going forward into this next year, we'll have to figure out what to do with all of them because our program keeps growing and growing. So we've got about 40 to 50 kids average per week. And another thing that's super important for us is to give these children the tools they need to be successful citizens of Galt as they grow. This picture was taken last October when we did Drug-Free Week and in coalition with Red Ribbon Week. So they were all choosing to be free. So we just wanted to thank you once again for your guys' ongoing support of our program. And we really could not do this program or make it possible without your guys' support of our great American people. Is there any questions I can answer for anyone tonight?
Chris? Just want to say, great program, Michelle. Good job. Thank you.
Thanks.
Again for letting us come and thank you for your continued support.
Yeah, our next presentation is from Project Love.
Hello, thank you. We thank you guys for your support for Project Love in our community. Project Love is we're an organization, and we first set out to help the homeless in our city, and our roles changed last year when we were approached by Feeding America, and Feeding America came and approached us, and through the History Makers we found a place to have a food pantry. And through that food pantry, we have been feeding approximately like 400 families a month right now. We have 12 volunteers, and they put in anywhere from probably 5 to 20 hours a week. And they're transporting food from Sacramento to here, which is provided by Feeding America, which we use that money basically every week for $25 a week, which kind of paid for the gas, but we get the food. That's it. So it was the gas for the truck for Contra Costa County to bring it to the First Baptist up in Elk Grove. So we pick that up every week. And through the Feeding America program, with the new introduction of Walmart, they're part of the Feeding America program also. And we were awarded that store, and which that has been it's just a blessing to our city and the people that really need it. We were able to give out Christmas trees, a whole truck full of Christmas presents this year. So, when a big thing comes into our town and we think, oh my gosh, what's happening here? It is a blessing for us. It's a blessing for every person in the city. And I just want to thank you guys for the money, and that helps us. We're short now. We're still needing more, because our services are getting bigger. Homeless-wise, our population's coming down, the homeless population. Last year, we were able to put 4 homeless individuals into programs, which they actually traveled across the country with the Project Love trailer. I know you guys haven't seen it in a while, but it's traveling around the country, and it's getting used in a program where it's an alcohol and rehab, and it's a Christian-based program where they learn that, you know, that they have some worth in their life, and that they're not useless. And they just builds them up, and they work all over the country at special events. And this Pastor Frank in Stockton I hooked up with. And so we hope to get more people off the streets, because it is a burden to our city. Los Angeles did a study, and it costs $25,000 a year to have a homeless person in your city. And that's through all the, you know, the police and the fire and all the little services that they eat up. That's what it costs us a year. So finding programs and finding ways. At first, when we first started Project Love, we didn't know what we were going to do. But through this 5 years, we kind of figured it out, how we're going to help some people. And we hope to help a lot more in the future in our city. And I just thank you guys for supporting us. And we'll keep on doing the work. All right? And thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, next is the police records section presentation by the police department, but we have to admit that's a ruse. At this time, I'd like to read something from a proclamation that we have for our city manager, who is currently leaving us. We can still try to talk him into staying. During his tenure as city manager, Jason steered the city through a major economic recession and provided the city with a high level of fiscal stability. And, under Jason's leadership, the city of Galt undertook several major projects benefiting the community, including the Central Galt Interchange, the Twin Cities Roundabouts, Walker Community Park, the Railroad Quiet Zone, and the Fallen Hero Memorial. Jason's creativity and vision for the city was instrumental in the development of a comprehensive economic development strategy, the formation of the Economic Development Task Force, and the initiation of a semi-annual strategic planning session for the City Council and staff. His organizational and leadership skills have greatly advanced the professionalism of the city government, resulting in a strong management team capable of moving the city forward while providing services necessary or desired by our residents. He has promoted a strong organizational culture of customer service with a personal style that is friendly and compassionate. Jason has a reputation for honesty and integrity, coupled with an energetic can-do attitude. He is highly regarded by city employees, community and regional leaders, and members of the City Council, past and present. Jason has led the city with a vision for the future and the goal of building a family-friendly, safe, and livable community for the residents of Galt. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Galt, California, that Jason Behrman is commended for his leadership and accomplishments during his tenure with the City of Galt. Thank you, sir.
This is difficult. It's been a wild ride. Been here almost 10 years, and it's been amazing watching the city grow and change, and working with amazing people. There's so many people to thank for this wonderful experience I've had. City Council, present and past, the ones that took a chance on a young kid coming in here, and those that have put up with me for the last several years, for the community, their support. Couldn't do this job without support of the community. Staff, and most importantly, their support And just we have blessed to have so many hardworking, dedicated individuals that share the same values of providing good customer service, just being honest, leading with integrity, and working hard for the citizens, putting the taxpayer dollars to good use. Also, would be remiss and thank my family who's here tonight for letting the city borrow me at times, sending texts and emails and talking to people while I'm on vacation, on weeknights and weekends and everything else that the job requires. But we love this town. It's a great community, and we're not moving. We're still here, and if there's things that I can do to continue to contribute and help in any way that I can for this great town, I'm happy to do it. I have nothing but warm, fond thoughts and memories and experiences that have helped me become who I am today, and I'm grateful that I found this little town. When I first got the job, I'd never even heard of Galt. I grew up down in Central California and didn't know anything about it, but we fall in love with this place. And the reason why it's so special, I believe, is because of the wonderful people that are here. It's a great small town. I know you guys all discovered it much earlier than I did, and I'm grateful that I was able to figure it out, and hope it will be here for a very long time. It's with mixed emotions that I'm moving on to a different position, but I know that the Galt is in very good hands with all the capable people here and council leading the direction in the future. And so I just wanted to say thank you. It's been a great experience for me. I appreciate all your support.
You know, I got my recent clothes on. I know. I thought it would be appropriate for you're the sixth person that I recognize, Randy. Come on in here. Yeah. Hey, make that up here. Hey, they look like that.
That's okay. All right, at this time, what I would like to do is open it up to the public, see if you have any comments for Jason. Don't all rush up at once.
Come on down, Frank.
Come on down, Frank.
And come on down, Al.
Al?
Actually didn't, Frank Galt, though, from Lodi, California. I wasn't planning on speaking today, but Jason, as you know, I was, for a short time, was the Galt Chamber of Commerce Executive Director. Like you, fell in love with the city because of the wonderful people like yourself. And I have to say, maybe I don't officially represent the business community anymore, but when I did, I'd be able to say that the business community absolutely loved you. You have a tremendous business acumen, and at the same time you have a tremendous political acumen, and you seem to know how to meld those two gifts together, and that's a rare thing. I think I speak for everybody here in the room that we all wish you the best of luck. We're extremely happy that you're still living here. And I can't speak for the council, but I have a feeling if you ever wanted to come back, you'd make a lot of people happy. Thank you very much.
and you're not going to hear this too often. Al Baldwin, a concerned citizen of Galt, a community of character. And we're losing one of our top character people right now. It's Jason. But you know, he's not really leaving Galt. He's still going to sleep here, live here. But now Elk Grove is going to have somebody very special. And we're pretty fortunate in Galt that we can keep an eye on Jason through television, driving into Elk Grove, questioning what they do, and knowing that he's going to do the very best job he can do, like he did here. The attitude that he has, the integrity, the honesty, he has just expounded all these attributes upon all of us, and we should feel and are very, very fortunate. I just can't say enough good things about Jason. I've experienced a lot of the things that Jason has authorized, and he's thought through everything. He's done an excellent job, and I really appreciate being able to be associated with you in the city as a citizen. I will miss you up here, but I'll be able to see you, and we will check on you. Thank you very much for all your work.
Thank you, Al.
John Gordon, the Galt Youth Commission, Galt Elementary School District. I just want to thank you for all the opportunities you provided me and all the support you have given youth, community, from our time serving on CAS, and your undying commitment, whether it's ideas we came up with, the Galt Youth Master Plan, to really allowing us adult mentors come in and just shake things up with the Youth Commission. You've been very collaborative. I really appreciate everything you've done here in Galt. We'll miss you greatly. Take care.
Thank you, John.
Evening, council, ladies and gentlemen. Randy Shelton, citizen, but I was on council. I have to say that, first of all, is this a roasting or is this a... Oh, okay, it's a roasting? No, I already told Jason I was going to say that. I just want to say thank you. I know you did come here with expectations. You followed through with what you said you were going to do. You did lead the community and the citizens and the council in our tough times. And what I've been very pleased with is you've always been optimistic. You've been very business friendly, you know, and we've not agreed on everything, but you know what? No one agrees with me all the time. But I just want to say, I look at it as we're losing a city manager, but as the president of the Historical Society, I'm looking at maybe we're gaining a volunteer. Oh, you said somewhat of a roasting, but I'm serious. No, thank you very much.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Any others? Council?
You're looking at me, so I guess.
Well, you're furthest away. I could start that way and work.
No, I worked under Jason, so I know him in two capacities. I find him to be, and have found him to be, extremely competent and a good leader. You did provide great leadership to the not only I think the staff but also council in years past, and I think Elk Grove is very fortunate to have you, and you will probably do very, very well there. Yeah.
Well, kind of ditto on all of that. It's been a pleasure working with you, Jason, and learning a lot of things, and we've been together for about 5 or 6 years and on the Planning Commission too, so I've watched you grow, and I think that's important whenever you get a job or you're going somewhere. You've done a fine job. We've completed a lot of projects, and as I said at our employee luncheon, A good leader will leave everybody able to go forward without them. That's always a good example of a good leader. You've got some excellent staff, and I know that the city of Galt is going nowhere but up. And thank you for all your service. And I'll miss you.
Well, a year ago, we didn't know each other. But I've enjoyed the last year, enjoyed getting to know you. We will miss you. You're leaving the city in good hands. You've done a wonderful job. We'll miss you.
Thank you.
Well, can I say how happy I am that I was one of the ones that got to hire you and hear all these good things, so I think I did good on that. But it's been a pleasure working with you and sharing the vision that I had for especially Old Town that you shared in. And you look at Old Town Galt now, and it's made tremendous improvements. And it took some nerve, I think, to go for the things that we went for, and I think it's paid off. I think they had good judgment. On the personal side, I've enjoyed watching you and your family. I remember the youngest one wasn't even born yet, and now I see your family. They're just getting so grown up, and I'm so glad that we will retain your family in our community, and I get to keep watching your kids grow up. So best of luck. Remember the open space between Galt and Elk Grove?
Yes.
Okay? And yeah, you're always, as far as I'm concerned, welcome to come back. So, good luck.
Well, I said most of it at the luncheon, but I'll kind of keep it down to a smaller portion now. You put together a good team, and the team that you put together was motivated by you. It wasn't somebody cracking a whip over their heads. It was, give me ideas, give me input. That's something that hadn't happened in the city in that area for a long time. And I've seen at least 6 or 7 different city managers come through this city. I think Kurt has as well, probably seen more than I have. More.
Wow.
It was refreshing. And the fact of the matter that you thought like I did outside of the box on a lot of problems helped a lot. You were very innovative in the ideas you came up with, and you led us through some very tough economic times when other cities were laying off police officers and cutting from the bottom of their staff and limiting services. We were holding steady, and in fact, we were hiring police officers, and I credit that to you and your leadership, sir. So I do say thank you, and Elk Grove is getting our jewel, and I have a real problem with that, but I'll get over it. And I also say thank you for being my friend, and I look forward to further endeavors. And with that, for the next 15 minutes, there are refreshments in the community room. Everybody is welcome to have them. We will start the meeting back up again at, we'll say, 10 minutes till 8. Okay? Barbara missed it, yeah, Barbara wants to talk about it. Correct.
That's okay. The last time was there. And then we're going to Buffalo, and then Niagara Falls, that's Sunday, everything, every day,
I don't know what I did, but it just screwed this up.
my cousin, same
All right, we'll continue on. Moving on to item D, public comment.
Under Government Code Section 54954.3, members of the public may address the council on non-agenda items. Speakers may address council on any agenda item during consideration of the item. Speakers shall restrict their comments to issues that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council and limit comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Please fill out a speaker sheet located on the table inside the entrances to the council chambers and forward the completed speaker sheet to the clerk.
All right, and what we have is Jack Fiore and Lisa Klotz.
Good evening. I am Jack Fiore. I'm the Vice President with California Waste Recovery System. At Cal Waste, our company mission statement says we provide the highest quality of customer service delivered with a sense of warmth, friendliness, company spirit, and individual pride. To measure our ongoing efforts at achieving our mission statement, we've utilized different methods of customer surveys in the past. Earlier this year, we employed a new tool for us called SurveyMonkey, and we used it to measure customer satisfaction. Next, we engaged Lisa Klotz to analyze the survey results and to develop some conclusions for us. So as Mary Beth has handed out the survey results for you, Lisa's here tonight to share the highlights of our recent customer satisfaction survey.
Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. My name is Lisa Klotz. As most of you know, I've worked with Cal Waste before with bringing recycle education into our local public schools and then helping those students bring that message of recycling home. So I was honored when Cal Waste asked me to oversee this survey of local residents regarding the solid waste and recycling services and to evaluate the incoming responses in an effort to help Cal Waste provide the best possible service for our local community. Tonight, I'm happy to share this information with you because Cal Waste customers are your residents. The survey was conducted, as Mr. Fiore said, online with a third-party provider, SurveyMonkey. Questions covered topics ranging from quality of service provided, cost value of service received, meeting needs of customers, driver interaction with residents, and customer service experience with Cal Waste personnel. In each one of these categories, the response clearly shows that Cal Waste is rated at performing at an extremely high level. As well, the survey results clearly indicate that nearly all local residents are active recyclers. Good news. Hey. Cal Waste would like to share these details with you, as there's a summary of them in the documents that you've received from Mary Beth. You will find evidence in the graphs in the back, as well as the evaluation that illustrated the findings in the executive summary, that the vast majority of Galt residents rate the overall quality of their current solid waste and recycle collection service positively with an amazing 98%. Shouldn't be so amazing, actually, because Cal Waste delivers on its promises. Your Galt residents have shown in their responses that in the past and currently, they feel that they are receiving value for their money in cost, in convenience, and in customer service. I want to thank you for allowing me to share this good news from our community with you. And if you have any questions after having the opportunity to review these findings, if you could please call the, feel free. And I invite you to call the Cal Waste office.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to our information consent calendar. Item number 5, the skate park improvements and expansion, was pulled by Vice Mayor Payne.
Yes, the recommendation from the staff is to postpone the improvements to the, and the maintenance to the skate park. To me, maintenance is a very important part of any of our facilities, so I immediately had concern that we are looking at postponing maintenance to a facility that serves our youth. I know it also is proposing that we do an expansion, but in lieu of that, they are suggesting that we postpone the improvements to the skate park to do some needed things out at Walker Park. I just wanted to explore and be sure that this is in the best interest of our youth to postpone doing any improvements to the skate park. It is a facility that we started some years ago because there was a need for the skateboarders to go and do their things other than on our city parks and on our rails and our public buildings. So we felt like we needed to provide them a place where they could do their tricks and their skills. So there was a need there, or we never would have built it in the first place. But with every facility we have, it requires maintenance. Especially when we have a place for our youth. It needs to be maintained, it needs to be safe. And so rather than automatically just say, let's postpone it for a number of years, I thought it was something that we needed to take time to look at and not just pass it or defeat it on the consent calendar.
Okay. Did you want to present your report on this, Armando, or address this?
I'll address the maintenance question. We have not stopped maintenance on the skate park. There's no intent to stop maintenance. We do an inspection monthly, and we do repairs as needed. Recently, we had to shut down the half pipe for about a week before we could make the repairs, but we will not stop maintenance on the skate park. So we will maintain it, we will keep it up, and we will keep it functioning for the users.
Safety isn't an issue. I mean, you've addressed all the safety concerns as well, correct?
Correct. This was only, we were asked to look at options for improvements to the skate park and funding, and that's what we've done.
But also we're postponing any maintenance because it would have to come out of the general fund. I think it's like $100,000 if I read
No, that is if you would like to replace the current pieces that are out there with like similar equipment. That's if you'd just like to replace it, it'd be a $100,000 cost versus the $300,000 cost to expand it.
Let me say I'm not a skateboarder, so I don't know what is safe and what's not safe. But I did do a visual out there today with you, and I did notice some things. The coating that's on the platform I don't know what you call that, a pipe or something, had big gaps in it in several areas. I noticed some of the edges of the platforms are bent, as well as there seems to be unevenness in some of the areas. Like I said, I'm not a skateboarder. Maybe those things are just a challenge to you guys to have to deal with. Maybe it's not a safety concern. I would be interested to hear how the young people feel about the facility, if any of them would care to speak.
Actually, I have quite a few public speakers on this. And if council doesn't have any further questions, I think we'll open it up to them. We'll start with Joe LaForest.
Hey, all. My name is Joe LaForest, resident of Fair City here. And I got a son over there in the file, okay? These guys are, they're fun, they're wonderful. I know almost all of them a little bit. They do use that part always 3 times a day. Okay, every one of them, and the other 10 aren't even here. They're there. It means an awful lot to them. It is affordable. It is used. And like I said, we want expansion or whatever. I just don't want to see it go away. I don't want to see it diminished. Countering this thing, I kind of got little bits and pieces of what is going on. And there's like baseball and softball diamonds. There's soccer fields, tennis courts. Everybody, all these guys, these kids are the same guys that would be playing baseball. Okay, they need a place to go and do what they do. And they're not afraid of skinning themselves up or breaking a knee or whatever they got to do it. They have fun doing it. And they're made out of rubber these days, and they'll grow. Unfortunately, they're going to vote when they get older too, and I think that they'll probably be voting for something like this, provided they get positive enforcement now. I'm winging this, so I'm going to wrap it up. And I think these guys can up and talk. I think I'm going to do something.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mike Singleton.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for the time up here. My name is Mike Singleton. I'm the current president and CEO for Galt Police Activities League. Some, but not all of these kids, these are mine. I work with these kids daily. They come to the PAL Center. I just held a skate contest 2 weeks ago. PAL spent a little over $1,000 for this competition. During this competition, one of our kids that were in the bike competition slid underneath one of the, they call it pyramid? Yeah. Trying to get him settled down a little bit. And his bike went underneath the pyramid and he hurt his ribs. Wasn't seriously hurt, but he was hurt, he felt it. But this skate park where you want to take away from that park funding, take over to Walker Park, Phase 1B, I think is not appropriate. You know, the staff report says that they, and even Mr. Solis said they do regular maintenance on it. You can't unbend metal by doing regular maintenance. Some of the ramps are bent just from riding on, just use. It's been out there a long time. The park impact fees, I think, would be good use there. These kids don't play baseball. Their thing is not baseball, it's skateboarding, scootering, you know. Some folks that these kids belong to, they can't afford to do the football, the baseball. This park is the only free thing these kids can do at this time. This keeps our kids away from the gangs, the drugs, and it keeps them in line. Because I'm over there talking to them. I've known them for a short while, and I've seen immediate turnaround on some of these kids. They're taught to be respectful. They're police their own skateboard park now. Because, yeah, we had some issues over there. That has turned around. Because Mr. Solis and myself visiting that park, they don't want to be where adults are coming around. And you don't belong here. We don't need 21-year-olds over at the park. I mean, I'm not saying be age discriminant, but 14, 15-year-old kids, when you see other adults coming around going, why are you here? I mean, I don't get it. These kids also, they keep policing their skateboard park because they want that park. They enjoy that park. They use the park all the time. They were always there through the summer until they just started school last week. So I'll get back to this. In the report, it states that in the CIP estimated projected cost for Phase 1B is $3.6 million. But we don't know that for sure. It's just an educated guess because the bids have been out yet. We know what we need to do just to expand this park. And I'm saying this because these kids are important to me. I want to reach out to these kids that are looking for that mentorship and somebody come and fight for them. I'm here to fight for them. They're good kids, they really are. Sometimes you ought to talk to them. Some of you did. Oh, I miss your he's a good kid. They just need adult attention, mentorship. They're very respectful. Anyway, so on option 2, it said the park is still usable and does not present any immediate safety concerns. Well, like I said, you can't unbend metal, and some of those edges on those ramps are sharp. Even if you follow them doing some of the tricks that these guys do, get injured. So I'm just hoping that you guys will see that we do need to improve this park, because if you don't, like, the school, anything, Harvey Park we just did, 15 seconds. If you don't keep up maintenance and spend the money to do the repairs, you're going to get deterioration. You get deterioration, you start getting bad influences. So please reconsider.
Thank you. J.T. Bandy?
Hello, my name is J.T. Bandy, as you guys just said. I'm here to reconsider, like, the skate park being remodeled and stuff. Like, we have baseball diamonds all over the town, McCaffrey, Community Park, Galt High School, Harvey Park, Rear School. So they're all over, and we only have one skate park, and it's getting dangerous. Like, we fall, we burn ourselves because the metal's so hot. Everything's getting beat up and torn up, and it's just getting unsafe. And like he said, we're getting maintenance and stuff. The water fountain doesn't work. We don't have a facility to go to the restroom. None of that, because we all got it taken away from the pool. And we would just like that stuff, and then because the skate park, we're getting so used to it, nothing's getting added to it or taken away. So then we go out and we ride on the streets and stuff, and you guys get the cops calls from disturbance and stuff like that. And if we have a new skate park, it can change, and we'll stand there more often. I mean, yeah, there's sometimes bad people come and we ask them to leave, but we can't use like forcing on them. We can call the police and stuff, but they're not. They come and tell them to leave, but once they leave, they'll just keep coming back. So we tell them to leave again, and eventually they'll go away. And that's really it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alejandro Jimenez. Alejandro? Okay. Nathan Bellamy?
I'm here to talk about the new skate park and discussing it. The skate park's falling apart. There's metals bent everywhere. There's parts of the skate park that are bending up. Every time you go right over it, you'll hit it and it'll fall over. And you'll get burned on it because of how hot it gets. The half pipe, every time you jump on the middle of it, it'll like go down, it'll bend, and it's not very good. You can't unbend that. The half pipe's been having to work on multiple times because of how uncooperative it is. We have to go right outside of the skate park, like Casey just said. And then we get the cops called on us because we're intruding and we're on public property and private property. And we're ruining their stuff, and a skate park's there for a reason for us to be occupied by that instead of going outside. I mean, outside the skate park and doing something else else's property. And some of us don't have enough money to go do other sports, keep us occupied. So we go into the skate park and see if we can put all of our effort there, get something done there instead. And we already got baseball diamonds everywhere. You know, the last thing we need is a new one. A new park would be great to us. We're stop nagging, because I know we've been nagging for a long time about it. And we're just like, to be done already. That's all.
Thank you. Xavier Gonzalez.
I'm here to talk about our skate park, and like when Nate just said, we go to other spots like Greer, Valley Oaks, anywhere in front of those Caesars, ledge there where we get the cops called, and they threaten us, giving us tickets or arrest us. And so we leave, then we go to our skate park, and it's bent. And if you land too hard, you will get caught under, and it breaks like your skateboard, your scooter, off your bike tires. And it's really dangerous. Like the box, the bike hits it, it pops up. The pyramid at the skate comp, my friend Austin, when he hit it, it moved the whole pyramid, and that's how he hurt his rib. And the best thing that happened to the skate park was the comp. That was the best thing that ever happened to the skate park. And the only thing I really know the maintenance did was fix the half pipe. That's what they did. They said they would fix the half pipe once, and all they did was just hammer it. They didn't do anything to it. All we really asked for was a new skateboard and a water fountain in the bathroom that really works. Except for going on the streets and ruining everybody else's property and getting kicked out. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. Al Baldwin.
Here I come, here I come.
I'm going to say I don't see your skateboard.
Al Baldwin, a concerned citizen of Galt, especially when it comes to the skate park. Let me tell you, maybe you don't realize how this whole skate park came about. Our previous city manager helped out quite a bit, plus the council at the time. I did my part by getting a haircut and watching citizens dodging the skateboarders that were coming by down C Street while I was getting a haircut, and people were getting upset they couldn't even walk out of the store. So I said, well, you know, they've got an ordinance for something like this, and lo and behold, you know, we're a small town, we didn't have one. So, yes, I came to the council, and I guess it was 3 times, and told them that, you know, this is what's happening, and we need something for the young people, but they're dangerous out there with a skateboard. And so what happened was, it took at least 3 times to come through and ask for an ordinance so the police would have the authority to do something. They couldn't do anything. You just warn them, hey, stay off this, do this. They couldn't do nothing. So eventually the ordinance came about, and it was voted on, and it was put in force. Came back again after that, and I said, you know, I suggested getting an ordinance, but you know, to them, that's not so good. So let's do something for them now, since they're gonna help us with this ordinance, hopefully. And I suggested a skate park. Well, some of the people laughed at me, some of the people said, no way, a lot of things. Well, let me tell you, at the time, we did have a piece of property next to the pool. It was used as a volleyball court, I guess you could call it, or something like that. It wasn't being used. Let you stand down there and nothing's being used. This is when you had the old parks office way a little farther down south. Anyway, it was suggested that we have an ad hoc committee. Pardon me. And since I was such a big mouth about it, they made me in charge of it. Well, we had quite a few people in this town that are up there and very reputable. And we sat down, there's about 6 of us, I believe, and we just started talking about this. We wanted to hear what the people that wanted to do the skateboard said. So they kept coming into this council chamber, because we have a table right here and everybody's back there. And they started sounding off, we want this, we'd like to see that. We don't want to be on the street, but there's no place else to go. The Boys and Girls Club was torn down because of lack of maintenance, basically. It was mold, and you couldn't get a guarantee on it, so we couldn't build it or do it. We couldn't fix it. So that got torn down. There's nothing for the kids. And that was my primary project, to get something that was safe for the children of Galt to go to, at least, no matter how small. I wanted to put one on the east side. I wanted to get a bowl. Yeah, I want to get a nice bowl like Lodi has in a way right now. It was pretty cool. Couldn't do that, couldn't afford that, couldn't do this, all these no, no, no. So we decided to call in a bunch of people that have skateboard equipment, not 1 or 2, but there was like 5, maybe even more, that would come in, demonstrate, show us the equipment they have, go out and see where it was installed. Hey, it was a job, but we did it. And finally, it came to a vote. We would use portable units. We put them in there, and we did have a drug problem in the beginning, which is really normal. It's not normal, but it happened, especially with the skateboard project that's not supervised. They didn't even have to wear helmets or pads or nothing when we first did this thing. So we had to get the rule, we had to enforce it. The police, they didn't really want to go by it, but they started to, and it started calming down a little bit. They'd go underneath the ramp, and they'd jump over the fence to Fairside School. They'd do their thing, and Fairside School was all upset because they thought it was the skateboarders that were messing up their school. Well, it wasn't skateboarders all the way. They had other things stashed underneath their portables. So it wasn't the skateboarders that was doing it all. Maybe. It was straightened out. We've gone through the hard part. It's quite a bit better now, and maintenance is the key, and if you can't do it, and you need $300,000, let me tell you, just use 1/3 of that to maintain this thing. You don't need to spend it all. When you get the money, you can do better things. Walker Park makes something. Put a skate park in Walker Park. No way, I understand. But nevertheless, it's something that the young adults, I'm going to call them, need, want, and should have a safe place to go, because we have nothing hardly in Galt that they can go to and enjoy themselves like they can with this skate park. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Council, discussion or motion?
Well, I hear a lot of discussion about this, what I would view as safety issues, whether you're talking about bent pipe or sharp edges or movable objects that are supposed to be stationary. I think I would like to know with certainty what the safety factors are, if there are any safety issues on the site. So quite frankly, I'm not ready to make a decision tonight. A lot of that hinges on that issue: is the place safe? If it is safe and it's functional, I would tend to agree with the staff report that rather than taking over $100,000 out of general fund at this point, that we postpone the improvements to a time when we have sufficient funds in both the park impact fee in order to proceed with this. But I think first and foremost, I want to know what the condition of the facility is.
Larry, input?
Well, the staff report says there's no immediate safety concerns. What do you think, Amanda?
I don't believe that there are immediate safety concerns. It's an 11-year-old park. Everything they've described is correct. The coating's worn out. These obstacles are made to jump from and jump onto. Bolts come loose. A lot of the maintenance is done in the early mornings when the kids are either in school or haven't woken up yet. So we do provide the maintenance. I'd like to address two other things. We do have a restroom and water available to them 7 days a week at Veterans Park. It's right across the street. That facility's open for them. Plus, they use our offices, restrooms, and water in there too. So Monday through Thursday. I also want to commend the kids that came up today. They did a great job in speaking to you. It's not easy. And the group you see here, they really do enforce the rules for us out there. And they do a great job. So I really want to commend them for being up here today. But I believe we can defer a decision until we get the cost for Walker 1B. I don't believe that there's immediate concerns out there. If you'd like to take a tour, if you'd like to, whatever you'd like to do at this point to ease your decision, I'd be glad to do.
I'm concerned that we would take $100,000 out of the general fund for the skate park when the staff report believes that we could have the funding in 2016. So a year from now, there's a very good chance we'd have the funding without taking money out of the general fund. We really need to protect the general fund. Taking the money from Walker, which has been in the works for a long time, or also there's a need for park impact fees for the construction of the open space improvements on 4th Street, which we've also made a priority. So I agree. I agree with Councilman Campion. I'd really like to defer a decision until we can find out, in fact, are there any safety concerns? That's probably the most troubling thing to me is if there's safety concerns, then I think we need to address that. But otherwise, taking money out of the general fund at this time, then we could defer it for a year when we might have to spend it without hitting the general fund.
We perform monthly checks on the park and make adjustments as we find them. So
I think you've already interrupted.
No, I'm sorry. It's if you'd like to take a tour of the park, I could do that. If you'd like to appoint a couple of council members to go out there with me, you can also do that. Or
Yeah, I haven't been to the site in a while, and so I quite frankly don't know what the physical condition is, and rely on your expertise, and certainly the comments that have been made though are somewhat troubling, and so not to doubt your opinion, but I think for everybody's sake it'll provide a little bit more clarity.
I think the issue that I have with it is that, and I agree, you're very good at doing what you do, Armando, but you can create something and have all the right intentions, but the end user is the one who's going to have to be the one that eventually has to use it. So I would feel more comfortable, and I kind of agree with both Councilmember Campion and Councilmember Hewer, if we went out there and looked at it. And to be honest with you, I don't know the first thing about the skate park. I know that 2 weeks ago I had a great time with the kids who were out there, but I can tell you just by looking at the half pipe that the friction coating is gone. It's not there anymore. And to me, that means that their wheels aren't sticking to anything. It's kind of sliding. To me, that would be a safety issue. And again, I don't know that much about skateboards. So I'd be comfortable having maybe one or two of the kids out there who use it constantly, pointing out to the things that they think are safety issues as well.
Denise Arlen, I have a son at Park Crofton, and tomorrow about noon or 1 o'clock, I want you guys to go out to that skate park, and I want you to sit the ramp on that thing. And that is scorching hot. I don't know any skate park that's got any metal whatsoever that they, you can snake easily. But I mean, it's scorching hot. I mean, you can really burn them, and plus there's no room. I mean, just run into the fences the other day, or that's a weekend ago, and plus, honestly, in that area, there's so much stuff going on. from the swim meet to, like right now, there's like football practice and cheerleading and just all kinds of crazy, crazy stuff going on. And we live on sort of Galt off Walnut Avenue. And you know, when I talked to the boys, one of the boys got hit by a car last year. And before they put that first, they closed the skate park. Now it's shorter. Before it was like open, and they were skating, and they went out in the street, and a car hit them. And they really traumatized. My son was totally freaked out about it, but because and it was on Wednesday, all day, you know. But you know, we talked about it one time, all of us, and we all of us at my parents' house, and you know where they would like to have the skate park is right next to the police department. The police department, and then there's a blank lot that's right there. And why they said is because they were getting blamed for stuff that they weren't even doing. You know, I mean, I really don't know what that really meant, but and they said that the police department could, they're an eye view, you know, the cameras and stuff, and that's a big lot right there. I don't know who owns that lot. It's right there by the police department, you know, right there. I don't know what that road is.
Industrial.
I think
Industrial and county.
Central. Yeah. Oh, no, it's right there. It's industrial.
Amador.
Amador. Right there, that Amador. And, I mean, it just, like I said, it's really confusing over there, a lot of stuff going on. But just go out there tomorrow and touch that ramp and tell me how hot it is. It's very hot. You know, I mean, it really, hurts you, you know, but they do need something bad. And because, like, my son used to play football, and but in scooters, believe it or not, scooters, I have spent probably $2,000 on scooters. Scooters are expensive. I mean, they're like $500 a shot, you know. And those ramps, when they come down, what they do is they tear them up, you know.
The scooters?
The ramps tear the scooters up. Because they're like aluminum and they bend and stuff, you know. But we've been to so many forks and so many deaths, it's not even funny because they get hung up on those ramps over there, you know. But because they're metal, and most places are cement, you know. But just go out there and touch it tomorrow and tell me it's pretty warm, okay?
I was out there today, and it was too hot to touch.
It was too hot to touch.
Yeah, and I didn't know, you know, do you kids wear something over your arms or anything? Because if you come in contact with that metal, you're going to get burned.
Yes.
I would say, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but it was too hot to touch.
Come on up.
I'm coming. City Council member of the community. My name is Micah Stevenson. I'm a junior high pastor over at Horizon Community Church, citizen of Galt for the last 19 years. I believe, and Mr. Baldwin can clarify when that skate park was first built. I believe 2003 or so, 2003 or 4. That was the year I graduated 8th grade, and at that time I was a rollerblader. I was probably the best rollerblader in Galt, seeing that I was the only rollerblader. And I've moved on to scooters because going over to the skate park almost every day after school when I was all the way through high school. Just developed a relationship of the time that I'd had in my life, relationships that I still have. You guys know Joshua Dula, you know Stephen Richards. They're almost, I mean, some of them are sponsored by big companies for that effort and that time that they put in at that skate park. But we all know that when young men and young women get bored, bad stuff happens, all right? Even me too, when I get bored, it's all bad. The main thing with that skate park is, right now, it is boring. There are a few safety concerns. Yes, it is hot, and we were out there yesterday, burning hot and everything. Yeah, I'll be over here tomorrow, probably not until about 6 o'clock because that's when it starts to cool down. But we have been, over the last year or so, been going to other skate parks because the other skate parks have more stuff to offer. They have better equipment. They have more stuff that they can explore and they can continue to engage and improve. And looking out, I see so much talent because of the time and the effort and literally the blood, sweat, and tears that they put in. Jose, hold up your elbows real quick. Okay. These young men are, like Mike said, they are very good young men. They have talent and they have potential. beyond just their physical ability to ride a scooter, the dedication that they put into this, and hammering the trick over and over, and they're falling and falling, and I'm going to do it again, I'm going to do it again, regardless of how many times they have fallen already. But yes, there is that factor of maintenance, but at this point it's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. There's only so much that you can do. I think there are deeper issues than just the maintenance. There's 5 elements to that skate park. There's the flat box, the mini ramp, the banks that are the roll-in, and the pyramid. And when the park was first opened, right, they had a handrail down the free stair, and then there was a kicker, which is a small little, about 1.5 tall jump, and then there was a table that was there, and those were all bolted down, and those got removed, which was great because of this. But as, what was your name? Denise had mentioned, because of the condition of the ramp, the bad transition from element to element to the concrete, that is taking a toll on the scooters. There's inch-long gaps in the concrete that if you hit that wrong, and luckily you go perpendicular normally on a line, but if you hit that at the wrong angle, it take a chunk out of your wheel or de-hub your wheel, as what happened to one of my wheels, and there's $50 right there just for a new set of wheels. That's starting level. So like I said, these young men have a lot of talent and a lot of potential and a lot of dedication, as some of you saw at the skate competition, and having a facility here in Galt that we don't have to continually say, oh, this is boring, let's go here, or let's go here, and we all address the parts of the town that they've gone to, and stairs and the handrails and the ledges that get torn up because of the fact that the facility that we have here in Galt is old, it's beat up. I don't think constant maintenance is going to do a lot because of the fact that they are 12-year-old ramps, and they were great right when it opened. But again, that's my chunk of change. Thank you all for your time and your authority, and pray for discernment and wisdom with all the decisions that you guys make. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, let me just say this. I think that we've talked about maintenance and a lot of other things, but the pride that I have in my town says we want a facility for our young people that we can be proud of, not just something that is okay. And I'm afraid if we keep deferring anything better for the skate park, it'll just get deferred off into the sunset. You heard the young minister talk about how many years ago he used it, and I don't think anything has been done to it since then. If anything, probably it's gone the other way. But as well as the investment in new things at Walker Park, and I love Walker Park, please don't misunderstand me. I think we need to think of an investment in these young people with the skate park. And I think they deserve something. I think this group and the ones to come, they deserve the best that we can afford to give them. I remember Kim out there had a big skate event that was awesome. We had people come and demonstrate from Southern California that were champions, and since then it seems like it hasn't moved up the ladder. I am not in favor of the proposal the way it is. I want us to see if there's not some way that we can consider the needs of these young people and their desire to improve their skills in their particular sport before we say, okay, let's postpone this until we finish another road or a road at Walker Park or a bathroom. Those are things that we need, I know, but I think what we need is to have things for these young people now. What I've seen and what I witnessed, they're not going to stay there forever. They're not always going to be at this age. They're going to move up somewhere. And they don't have time to wait for us to find the right time to address their needs. I think these are all great young people. I don't think they're ever going to go down the wrong path. But then I'd like to see them move up in whatever it is they think they have talent in. I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I personally would like to see us make the investment in the skate park. It may be, according to this young lady here, that maybe we need to look at a different location. I don't know. But as of right now, we couldn't afford that. So, you know, I felt this way before any of you came out here to talk. You're very persuasive. You're nice-looking young men, but I felt this way before you spoke, but I'm glad that you did come out. And I think the parents that came out, I appreciate them speaking up, and there are other parents that aren't here, but I think that they would want the city to take an interest in their children, just like we take an interest in our team sports. So anyway, I guess to boil it all down, I would not be in favor of the staff's recommendation as it's written tonight.
Mr. Mayor, if I could make a suggestion.
Yes.
As you know, we participate in an insurance pool, and that insurance pool has made available to us from time to time safety inspectors that have come out and looked at various city facilities to assess the risk and make sure that we are eliminating any safety concerns. I know at one point in time they did have, in fact, park inspectors. I don't know if they currently have anybody on staff or that's available to them that has an expertise in this area. But one option would be for us to reach out to our insurance pool and see if we can get an independent inspection of that facility to report back to the council.
Would the council be all right with that?
I think that's a good idea. You know, it's like I said, we have conflicting opinions as to, you know, what the status of the equipment is. Certainly it's aged, and we know that. But I think getting an outside, hopefully, third-party professional opinion would be very helpful.
I make a motion to continue the item, pending a staff report from the insurance regarding safety concerns.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Hewer. Do I have a second?
I would second that.
Second by Councilmember Campion.
And this is not something, I don't want this to appear as though we're pushing this off till next year. I suspect that staff will report back as soon as they have information, and it will then come back to council. So this is something that's not going to be pushed off indefinitely.
And what we're just looking at right now are the safety issues.
That's correct.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne?
I'm going to vote no because I think it's more than safety issues. I think we want more.
Councilmember Hewer?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Powers?
Aye, but I'm just voting because of the safety concerns. I think dollar amounts are a whole other issue that hasn't even been discussed tonight. So.
And Mayor Cruz?
Aye. Motion passes 4-1.
Actually, I'd like to make a second motion. I'd like to have staff bring back, when we come back to safety regarding safety concerns, I'd really like to see the information brought back if in fact we chose to fund a new skate park or to replace it, where the money would actually come from, because in the staff report, it looks like it would come out of Walker 1B, it looks like it would come out of the general fund, or just a request fund. I mean, it looks like, so, it looks like it would come out of the railroad property. I mean, it comes out of some projects that are pretty high priority for the city. And so, as part of that report about the safety issues, I'd really like a real formal report on where the financing would come from if we chose to go down the road of building a new park or replacing all the equipment, because this doesn't really lay out where all that funding is going to come from. I think we need to know what projects we're not going to fund if we choose to fund a new skate park.
I agree.
We have a motion by,
That doesn't really need to be a motion.
That's, I think, more direction.
just direction. I did have one question. Does this not come out of Quibi funds or not? I'm not sure here.
A portion of it would.
A portion would. Do we know what that,
Approximately $200,000 of it would.
so we'd still be on the hook for 100,000
Right.
as far as general fund?
Correct.
That's a combination of Quimby or also impact fees as well? Yep, okay.
If we put Quimby in the impact fees already designated for other projects, so we would have to be putting other projects on hold to be able to do this.
Correct.
If we replace equipment, will that always come, because it's under category of maintenance, will it always come out of the general fund, or can it come out of other funding sources?
Is my understanding it cannot, it has to come out of the general fund.
Always?
If you are doing.
Just replacing?
Yes.
Yeah,
You're
that's what I
not
thought.
making improvements.
All right, well, moving on, we have the rest of the consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second?
Motion by Councilmember Campion, seconded by Vice Mayor Payne. Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Hewer?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Powers?
Aye.
Mayor Cruz?
Aye. Okay, then we'll move on to item G3, which is the library expansion project.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My privilege to present this item to you this evening. Earlier this year, as part of the city's strategic planning process, the council added an item to form an ad hoc committee to investigate the potential expansion of the Galt Library. The council appointed Mayor Cruz and Vice Mayor Payne to serve on that ad hoc committee. I'm also involved in that effort with staff from Sacramento County, city staff, Don Natoli, library staff, Friends of the Library, etc. The current library is a little over 4,000 square feet. It was built back in 1993. Due to population growth, changing needs, it's become too small to meet the needs of the community in an efficient way. I'll just read for you briefly a description of the current library and some of the challenges. This is from the library, the Sacramento Library Facility Master Plan. It says the biggest shortcoming of the library is its lack of a community room. This is significant, particularly for a community with a growing family population and with many program needs. Story times are held in an area near the building entry, which causes both circulation and noise conflicts. Other programs simply cannot be held. Computers in the library are heavily used, particularly by children and teens who use them to search the internet and to do homework. Staff work areas are small and crowded. Book carts are staged along a narrow hallway, making map passage difficult. Storage is at a premium. Even the staff restroom is pressed into service as a makeshift storage space. To address that issue, the Facility Master Plan anticipated or envisioned the construction of a brand new library on the east side of town, about 15,000 square feet. After that, it was envisioned that there would be an expansion, a significant expansion of the existing library from the 4,000 square feet up to a total of 15,000 square feet. The cost of those projects, the first, the new facility, was about $11 million. And that was an estimate from several years ago. So if you increase that, it's gone up a little bit. And then for the expansion from 4,000 to 15,000, it was another $9 million project. City recognized the need several years ago in 2010 to start to invest and find a way to fund those improvements. The city adopted a new development impact fee to fund future library expansions and improvements. The fee was set at $1,381 for a new single-family home and $914 for a multifamily, which is collected for each building permit issuance. To date, the city has collected about $187,000 in developer impact fees. There's about $151,000 that's currently available potentially for the project. So the ad hoc committee, kind of knowing we had these big needs, but not a lot of revenue, kind of focused on really what were the immediate needs. And so we worked with the Friends of the library staff, and really identified and focused on this community room as being the top priority, as well as addressing some of the storage. And fortunately, Don Natoli is very interested in this project, and he committed two things. One was a contribution from the county in the amount of $100,000. The second one was the use of one of their staff from their Architectural Services Division, Dennis Gish, who attended several meetings, toured the library with us, and he and an intern of his developed some conceptual designs for us to take a look at. and also develop some potential cost estimates of what this might look like to do a kind of a scaled down expansion that met the initial needs without going forward with a $9 million or greater project. And so what I'd like to show to you briefly is some of those designs, which are included in your packet. I'll show to you up here on the screen. As you can see, the largest area is a multi-purpose room, about 1,500 square feet. It's a very flexible space that can be used for library programs. It can also be used for after-hours events and functions. During the day, it would open up into the library, so when they're at the front desk, they could see into there and as the programs are being held. But after hours, that door could be closed and the outside door could be open and made accessible or available to public or the city for other types of events. It's a standalone facility, even though it would be connected to the library, so it's got its own restrooms, it's got its own little kitchenette, as well as storage area. So it really does meet the needs of the existing community and library needs, at least for the near future. In the long term, there'll need to be a larger expansion, potentially another library elsewhere in the city. But for now, this seemed like a great way to get some expansion without and being able to afford to build it. I'll go ahead and go to the next slide. I'll show you some of the conceptual. And we're really fortunate that the county was able to provide some of these architectural services to us. You kind of envision what it might look like. And so basically, if you're looking directly from the street into the library, that would just be expanded and extended out north. So kind of a gabled roof is allowed to just continue in that direction. So the expansion is relatively simple, straightforward, and the architectural staff felt like it could be done at a reasonable cost. Go ahead and go to the next one. You can see the two entrances. The main library one would stay the same. We wouldn't touch that portion of it. And then to the left would be a new entrance into the new community room or community center. This is a view from the eastern side, looking out if you're standing towards the ball fields over there, looking out on that side. Actually, let's see. No, this is from the east side. This is the east side. The other one was from the north. This is kind of an overhead view, 3D view. It gives you the same view. You can kind of see, if you look towards the existing library space, you can see the windows, doors that open up into that space. There's the smaller children's room that's in the southeastern section of the expansion area. Again, there would be a door and windows that would open back into the main library component. They could have children's story time or other events or other activities and programs in that area. This is just a look from the inside. You can see the kitchenette off to the left, and then a look back into the library on the far side. And those tables and chairs can be removed, put back into storage. It can be just an open area. You could just have chairs without the tables, so the storage would accommodate the movement of those tables and able to again, provide a flexible, usable space for library as well as community needs. So the total estimated cost from the county is about little less than $1.4 million, about $1.1 million in hard costs and $300,000 in soft costs, such as architectural, project management, inspection services. That also includes the cost of the city hiring the county architectural services to basically project manage this for us. As the council is, I know, aware, staff is taxed right now with all the existing projects we have going on, so this would allow the county to come in and serve as project managers of the project, and that is what staff would recommend in order to get the project delivered, if that in fact is what the council would like to see happen, and those costs are included in that estimate. I went over briefly the kind of the financial stuff, and I'll just summarize it really quickly. The city has about over $150,000 available right now in impact fee funds for the library. The county's agreed to dedicate $100,000 towards the project. There's also a grant that's available right now, a CDBG grant through SHRA that Friends of the Library and the county library staff are pursuing. It's a competitive grant, so they don't know if they'll get a portion of that or all of that. So if they do get the grant, then the potential shortfall is $1,041,000. If they don't get the grant, then it's $1,141,000 that would be left beyond the city's initial contribution. A couple different options of how you get that $1.1 million. One is to issue debt through some type of mechanism. The other one is through internal loan. And based on the size of the amount that's needed, staff is recommending going forward with an internal loan. There is sufficient funding that exists in Fund 31, which is an impact fee fund, a different impact fee fund. You're allowed to borrow money for project needs as long as it doesn't jeopardize projects within that component. That's a component that was dedicated to improvements in the Northeast area, mainly for water, storm drainage, and other similar types of improvements. There are no projects currently planned in the 5-year time horizon of the CIP, and so the city would be able to loan money from that fund into the library impact fee or general government impact fee fund, and it will be paid back in time with interest as the city issues more building permits and things heat up. Based on current estimates, we feel like within 5 years that loan could be paid off. If not, and if there was a need in Fund 31, then the general fund could absorb whatever difference that was until the funding was available to pay that back. So a couple different options that are available for the council to consider this evening. One is the council could direct staff to proceed with the library expansion project as outlined this evening. The next step would be for us to come back with a staff report that would be either to enter into a contract with the county. We'd solicit ask the county to prepare a proposal for us of what that would look like for them to manage the project and do the design work. We would bring that back to the council, and the council could approve that, allocating the funding that we already have available. So it would be the county funding as well as the city's existing $150,000. That would be sufficient to move forward with the design work and the soft costs of getting that project off the ground. And then once the project is out to bid, then you could deal with the funding mechanism of the exact loan amount that you'd need to borrow from Fund 31. So that decision could be deferred until you actually get a little bit further down the road, but the initial step would be to start with getting the design underway. The other option is to not go with the county, have staff manage it, and we would then reach out on our own to hire an architectural firm to do the design, and we'd be responsible for managing it. It may save a little bit of money to do that, but again, it'd be hard for us to deliver that without deferring or delaying other projects that are on the books right now for the city. The second option for the city council to consider is to delay the expansion of the project until the city's collected the necessary $1.1 million to build the library without having to borrow. And again, that could take 5+ years in order to do that. Third option is to simply forget about the smaller expansion project and work towards a larger expansion in the future of either building a new library on the east side or a larger 15,000 square foot expansion on the west side. And to do that, either you're going to have to wait a very long time until we have money to do it, or you're going to have to issue some significant debt, and then probably accompanied by some type of a funding mechanism through parcel tax or some other types of tax mechanism in order to make that larger project happen. So that is that's my presentation. I don't know if there's any comments from the public or if the council has any questions of me, but I'd certainly be happy to answer them.
Council, do you have any questions on the presentation?
And I didn't see the final document, but how does it, it's got to improve the functionality of the library portion itself by moving some of those facilities into the new community room. I mean, did they talk about that at all?
Yeah, I think significantly. I'm probably not the best person to answer that. I think we have some staff. Diane, if you want to maybe come up and talk about how that would improve the existing operations of the library, because I think you're right. It moves some of the stuff that's crammed into the small little areas and moves it out into other areas, but she can better describe it than I can.
Mayor, city council members, city managers, staff, members of the public, I'm Diane Christensen, branch supervisor and service librarian at the Galt Lawrence Library, and I'm here to speak on this topic of the library expansion. I have personally been privileged to work with the library for over 12 years, and during that time, I've really been impressed with this community, with the commitment of the library, public library. When I did research last year for the library's 106th anniversary of the public library in Galt, I was really just amazed to discover that the Trinity actually began supporting library services back in the 1880s. It's a terrible workers organization. So in the city, public libraries have a long tradition here in the city. It's something you should be so proud of. And through the decades, various buildings in the community have been used for the library, including the building for the town of Liberty, which was used for the public library. It was moved to the north corner of the street between 6th and 5th, and that became the library in 1908. making Galt the home of the second oldest county library in California. Quite an honor. And the library was moved onto B Street, which is a dance studio. You know what that is. After the library in the mid-1950s, 60s. And the building was moved to the corner of C and Lincoln Way that housed the library and city services from the mid-1960s to 1979. Into the city center, this building, which the library was shared with the city staff from 1979 to 1993, when the building, which bore the name of the former council member, mayor, library advocate, super library advocate, Marion Lawrence, built and open to the public. So, today, library is a busy, vibrant place. Provides services programs for people of all ages. Parents with baby, toddlers, preschoolers are constantly in looking for picture books. We have educational toys that they use. College children and teens are in there looking for books to read for enjoyment. They really love to read. And they also use books and other resources for school and college assignments. We have adults using computers or mobile devices for job applications, or needing help in downloading free books from the library onto their tablets, or printing out wiring diagrams to help understand how the system operation of their car's engine is done. Every age group are free programs, and many are sponsored by the friends of the library that engage and educate the public. Now, currently, in order for any program to happen in the library, furniture, art displays, chairs, and tables need to be moved in order to provide space for such basic things as full story time, or any program where people have to sit, stand, or move around. Having a community room to solve that problem, and the major problem of separating a very active program, teen gaming event, or a baby toddler story time play experience, and people need a quiet place. Read, think, write, study, homework zones, or a job, ESL coach volunteer services that we also offer, and literacy services. So having a dedicated program space, a community meeting room is necessary for space considerations, for sound and control of movement considerations, and for safety, comfort. Because during the summer, for example, I have to say this, there were nearly 100 people at a program on a Tuesday night in July, all crowded together, and the only space available was in the public computers and the magazine collection. If any of you know what that space looks like, it's shocking when you think about it, and maybe it's not the safest thing to have happen at all. In the past, every time there's been a need to find a library building solution, this community has stepped up. Now the need for a building solution is to provide, the simplest one is to provide a community meeting room at the library, which will be a space only for programs generated through the library, but free programs generated through the community, because it is a community space for youth, people Galt. Out of the 28 branches of Sacramento Public Library, only a handful, including the library in Galt, do not have a community meeting room. I urge the council to vote to provide funding for the building of this space, which will be a positive addition for years to come. But I'd also like to invite all of you in this room, the council members, city staff, citizens of Galt, to attend a week from today, Tuesday, August 25th, 6 to 8, a community meeting, which has a lot to do with this topic, about the vision of the future of the library here in Galt. This meeting will be held at the Galt Parks and Recreation offices at 610 Boulevard Drive in the Moran Eagerman boardroom. At this meeting, you have the opportunity to talk with members of the Sacramento Public Library about to say what you think is important in your community library. It's vital that you do share your ideas, because these topics will directly affect the strategic planning on the future of this library in the community, this 106-year-old library. So go to paclibrary.org/events webpage for details, more details on the meeting, which is happening a week from today. I have flyers too. But meanwhile, thank you for letting me speak about this important topic. And have any questions?
You partially answered, I think, the question I had, but a lot of other good information came out. In terms of the area that will be vacated and moved, those facilities into the new community room, how is that space going to be utilized after, assuming that the building is constructed?
Probably physically, none of the collection will go into that community room because it will be a community meeting room.
No, I'm not talking about the community room. I'm talking about the existing library. Will you be vacating where the computer systems are or the computer tables are? Or what physical changes will occur within the existing library, I guess is my
The existing library is not planning to have any changes at this time.
So it will remain the way it is today?
Correct.
Okay.
There would be extra storage, there would be extra space for programs, where laptops and other mobile devices can be brought into there with support programs, like gaming programs.
Right.
But the current existing building is not in the plan to change, except for that one area off of the children's area, the library that you saw in the diagram. And that area could be used, I think, primarily, if it's open to the rest of the library, as an area for early literacy, for play. But we have toys, we have a puppet theater. And it's used, and children have lots of fun over there. But as it is now, it's kind of, the sound reverberates through the rest of the building, but if it was in kind of that alcove area, it would be immense help for sound. So that is one area
Okay.
for the main part of the library. The community room itself will have so many wonderful additional, will serve so many wonderful additional purposes.
Oh, I agree. I think it's a great project, and I think we should go forward.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Diane.
All right, thank you.
Continue on, Diane Cannonberg.
Diane Cannonberg, I'm a past, actually I was the very first president of the Friends of the Library in Galt. Bill Warning and he didn't trick me into it. But I have a love of reading. And my passion is people who can't read. And there are many, many, many of them. I started in the 80s being a literacy tutor. And at that time, my students have been 18 years old, 72. And there's, as I told Barbara earlier, there's many reasons why they can't read, as there are people. And the one thing is they're not dumb. That is one reason they're not. It doesn't mean why they can't read, because they're dumb or stupid or something, because that's not true. But anyway, my plan here tonight is to tell you about the library expansion. The library needs to have a space. If you think about it, if you couldn't read, how hard would it be for you to sit in the library with a tutor and a 5 or 6 year old child walk by and get a book that you couldn't read? What would you feel like? Put yourself in that person's position. Anybody think how you would feel? You wouldn't feel very good, would you? And if you had, it's hard enough to make that initial call and say, I need help. It takes a tremendous amount of courage. Make that call, and then be paired up with a tutor, and then have to sit out in the general library where everybody that goes in there, comes and goes, sees you. There's no sense of privacy. Years ago, I convinced Sacramento to have the Galt Library open after hours as a read. It was just open for just tutors and students, because there's no place for them to go. And I like the plan they have here, except there's still no private place. I would like to see some kind of a partition or something that you could at least get behind it in there, in the community room, when you have literacy students. And I think right now I'm the only active literacy tutor in Galt. I also took the training tutor for people trying to get their GED. And now they have, when somebody wants to be an adult that needs to learn to read, has to call Sacramento, go to Sacramento, be evaluated, then Sacramento, they come back home, Sacramento calls somebody to tries to get them to go
you know, match them up with a tutor, and then they have to go somewhere. The last one I did in there, I took them to Elk Road, because they have roots. They have a facility that allows you to have a measure of privacy. The last one I had in Galt quit. And if you're concerned about literacy, as you should be, it's one in six. And that it crosses all economic and social barriers. So, you know, we desperately need this library expansion. And we desperately need some place for these people to learn to read. I'm here, I'm ready. Just give me a place to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Diane, if you were saying that you didn't see the privacy thing, if there were not a program going on in the multi-purpose room, there would be privacy in there.
It's the whole room. But yeah, it doesn't even have to be that. I mean, to have like a little partition of, you know, to move always against the wall or something, and give just a little corner, because that way they can still learn to read, and that program. The Galt Library has so many programs. You would not believe, if you haven't been over there, the space they put them on is like a 9-by-12 rug. I'm serious. It's just like jam like sardines in there. And, you know, I look to see that the meeting room used a lot more often than we anticipated. And so just a little space. I mean, you could go into the kids' room too if there wasn't anything going on there. But still, it would be nice to have
maybe a cubicle?
Yeah. And, you know, because you had something with a table. The last one I had, we had the little desk. Tried to write on her knees. Can't do that. So there's a lot of people out there, a lot of people in Galt that need that help. Anybody else have a question?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Diane.
Madison Griffin.
Okay, I am Madison Griffin. I'm speaking as an employee and also as a citizen of Galt. Right now I'm a part-time bookshelver. I love my job, it's nice and air-conditioned in the summer. And I'm really grateful for it. And the new floor plan actually excites me. This is the first time I've seen it. I've heard a lot about it, and that's huge. And I think it'll be awesome. And I really hope we can go through with it. I actually have reasons why, but I just wanted to say that I like it. Right now, when we have, like Diana's mentioned, when we have programs, we have to move everything. And we have to move chairs in front of the bathrooms. We have to move this. It's a display. It's like a really big hexagon, probably about 4 feet long. Has to be moved past the computer bank all the way to a different little section of the library, just so that we have enough space to set computers up for our teen programs. One time we had a salsa dancing program. That was really, really cool. They obviously couldn't have room for salsa dancing with a hexagon full of books right there in front of the computers. They had to move that. It's a huge hassle. We have our baby toddler story time Saturday mornings. It's the cutest stinking thing. You have 2-year-olds on their mom's lap singing these little songs. And I love working Saturday mornings because I get to hear all the songs. And it's really, really nice. And if they had their own room, we could have more people come in. Because I've seen, if we get more than about 6 people, it crowds in front of the door. And the parents feel embarrassed. They don't want to crowd the door. They don't want to be a hindrance. And obviously the people in the library can hear them sing. So if we had a children's room, I believe we would get more toddlers who would grow up to be like 2nd graders. You'd read the little itty-bitty chapter books, and then they'd read the bigger books, and they would learn to grow up and love the library like I did when I was younger. And I went through all those programs, and I loved them, and it was lots of fun, but it was cramped when there were too many of us, and too many of us was like 10, not even like 30. too many people is like a dozen is a handful because our library is a little bit too small. It is. And another thing about storage, in our bathroom, we have like the staff bathroom under the sink. We have this foam mattress that we use to catch the extra books over the weekend. As if we just put the carts there, they all spill over the carts. And so we have a foam mattress, and that's in the bathroom, and it's really awkward. We also have cleaning supplies in the cabinet in the bathroom. So if you're using the bathroom and someone needs cleaning supplies, that's also pretty awkward. And then in the back room, we have cabinets that are full of supplies we use for our children's programs. We have crayons that we use, we have markers, glue, scissors, everything that's needed for children's programs. And it's blocked, like the bottom, because we have lots of generous donations of books that get in the way sometimes. And so I'll try to get the crayons to set everything up, and I'm stuck shoveling books over, and books are heavy, especially there's like 20 of them. And it's very annoying sometimes. And as much as I appreciate all that we have, I feel as if we've outgrown it. And I feel as if we do need more space to not alone the people that come to the library would enjoy it. The people that haven't come to the library would enjoy it, and they would see the programs that we would have, because we would have more space. We wouldn't have a whole bunch of people blocking everything. So we would have a space for animals, people, because we've had dog trainers come in. They've done like animal tricks, and that fills up the place. But when it fills up the place, your grandma can't come in and get her book with large print when there's 5-year-olds looking at the jumping dogs. It kind of doesn't work that way. So if we get more space, we can have both, and it'll be quiet, and it'll be loud, and there'll be so many people, and more kids will grow up in the library like I did. And I think it'd be a great addition, and I really, really urge you guys to pass the motion or whatever the term is. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Madison. Well put. If that's all I have for public speaking, do I have a motion?
I would move that we go with alternative one and engage the county, direct staff to enter into an agreement with them, and utilize as laid out in the staff report Fund 31 initially, unless any changes come up. And hopefully Friends of the Library is successful with their grant.
I would second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Campion and a second by Councilmember Hewer. Call for the vote, please. Well, actually,
We have some discussion.
any further discussion on the
I just like to say that as happy as we were when the library opened, when we moved out of this building and built out wonderful, what we thought at the time was a wonderful facility, we knew within a very short time that it was too small. But it was what we could do at the time. The community's grown a lot since then, so it's time for the library growth. 15 years ago, I served as part of the strategic planning for the county library system, and even then we talked about that our library is too small. So I'm really glad to see that we're moving forward with expanding it, because it's been a long time in the making, but it's just one of those things about finding the funding. As happy as we were when that library moved out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, any further?
I'd like to say something. I think we would be amiss if we didn't admire and thank the staff that have done all of these miraculous things, bending every way they can to move things around and to service the people. And as a member of Friends of the Library, I've never heard any of the staff members complain. They get excited when we got the Taj Mahal and we had a new closet, but somehow they always have such a great attitude, and I just know that it's a shame that we can't share more with the public of what you have to offer. But again, I admire the staff, friends who have worked selling tons of candy to provide 9 million programs, whether it's salsa dancing or whatever. So, yeah, I would just have to take a minute to say thank you for all that you've done in the past. And you deserve this.
Yeah, I think I'll just second that with Barbara, because I know how hard these ladies work on, I see them out there all the time. They know I'm always there with the Seas Candy, so. Yeah, I think you guys do a great job, and your commitment is commendable. And I think that getting this library up and running and bigger is one of the most important things we should be doing for the city now.
I agree.
I really do.
Awesome. I gotta tell you, this is actually the second draft, because the first one was a little bit elaborate. But I think the biggest thing on here I love about it, the book drops in the front.
Yes.
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about digging around the bathroom for the mattress anymore. It's in the front of the building. Okay, do I have anything else? Then I would like to call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne?
Aye.
Councilmember Hewer? Aye. Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Powers?
Aye.
Mayor Cruz?
Definitely, aye. Passes unanimously. We're off and running. Okay, moving on to scheduled matters. User fee upgrades or updates. And Aaron.
Well, now we get to start the agenda.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and community members. This evening, staff is recommending that Council adopt a resolution approving the user and regulatory fees update for public services. And the update is based on the Consumer Price Index for urban consumers for the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose area for April 2015. Be sure everyone's safe. I think they were just expressions. By way of background, back in 2011, one of the goals identified by Council was the strategic planning was to improve the financial stability. And in that pursuit, we developed various objectives and goals, and we wanted to identify those services that were being provided to individuals versus the community at large. We wanted to see what other agencies were doing, and we decided to come back with a comprehensive user fee study. So a year later, back in 2012, the firm of MGT was hired, and their task was really to do several things, but a couple of them was to provide and calculate the cost of services that the city was providing, recommend fee adjustments if appropriate based on best practices, and also compile some information on our neighboring cities, primarily on Elk Grove, Dixon, and Lodi. We presented their findings in a full cost recovery analysis, and didn't update that in its entirety this year. This is the first update, but really what we're looking at is just a consumer price index, just the CPI. We have also adjusted a couple of other areas, some adjustments based on some recommendations by departments, either to address some current deficiencies or to just narrow the funding gap. So as you may recall, last year when we actually presented the fee study, we were at a cost recovery of about 45% citywide. So by accepting the user fees that were presented that evening, it basically closed the gap, and closed the gap a bit, and our cost recovery level was estimated at 54%. So this evening, we're recommending that the consumer price index of 2.436% be adjusted or used to adjust some of these fees this evening. And I do want to provide a quick overview of some of the adjustments on a department-by-department basis. So for the city clerk, you'll see a new garden plot rental fee has been added, and the fee is $25, and it's based on similar community garden fees in the area, and it's basically to cover some of the services for water costs. In the finance area, you'll see that the accounting service fee was updated to reflect the cost of service. There was an oversight during the last fiscal year, during the last update.
I know the community garden fee is an annual fee, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
The community development facilities, you'll see the residential re-roofs are being charged at, or recommended to be charged a flat rate of 100% of cost recovery at $260, rather than by using the BMEP table. Residential HVAC replacement has been added a fee of $165. Additional inspections for either two of those services, we wanted to charge at the hourly staff rate, and inspections after the normal business hours would be charged at the hourly rate with a minimum callback of 2 hours. In the Community Development Planning Division, we had actually recommended that last time that we put the use permit categories on hold until the zoning code had been updated, and that has been completed, so it's now appropriate for us to implement and start to the conditional use permits as well as the minor use permits. The design review is also has been added. Items that are reviewed by the planning commission, similar like these single-family subdivision or standalone projects and or commercial industrial projects, we're basically saying that they should have the same fee as conditional use permits for new construction. We have adjusted, the lot line adjustments decreased it actually from 1,380 down to 470, and that's basically just to recognize the reduced level of work effort. And lastly, a temporary use permit and mobile food vendor applications, we've added that as a new rate, and that's cost would be at $246 and representing the full cost recovery. In Parks and Recreation, all departments do continue to be subsidized. The services are being provided, with the exception of the Galt Market, and the Galt Market was not part of this analysis last year, and it was not part of the analysis again this year. There are various fees that are subject to the CPI. However, we did not adjust them because last year there were larger adjustments made, and so it's basically a pass in the curve. We did not feel it was appropriate to increase them again, so we basically just called it a pass. So they are noted as subject to CPI in the future, but this year we just decided to just pass them on the CPI. There are some fees that were recommended to be increased by more than CPI, and those are those fees that are based on market conditions, and mostly they're related to the rental hourly rates for Little Tim Chavoy Parks and Rec office in the Walker Park, and so forth. So the cost recovery for some of the recreation programs range from a low of 28% for first grade youth basketball to full cost recovery 100% for slow pitch adult softball. And I know that there was a Parks and Recreation, there was a commission meeting held on August 12th, and these fees were presented to the commission, and it is my understanding that they did approve of the recommended items in the report.
Yes, it was 5-0 vote to approve.
And so we did provide notice on this one. With regard to the police department, there really are no changes for the police department. I just wanted to provide you an update that the excessive false alarm fee must be adopted by ordinance, and I know that there is an outside firm working on the alarm permit fees. So I wanted to just give you an update on that department. Fiscal impact, we do expect that the recommended fees would result in additional revenue. The fees were not part of the midterm budget adjustment as the CPI became available at the end of May for the April period, and so they were not available when we actually presented the budget. The fees will be effective on September 1st, 2015, with the exception of those that are related to development, which will be postponed by 60 days, and the effective date will be November 1st. And there are some fees that are effective on January 1st, and primarily those are because we've already entered into various contracts or the service has already been provided for the season. So with that, I would ask that council accept the resolution with the recommended fees as the attachment. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than glad to address it this evening. And I know that fellow department managers as well that can address any questions you have specific to their department.
Very good. Council, questions?
I have one. I just have one. On the new fee, the temporary use permit fee, it says that the fee, it says staff request that the temporary use permit fee can be waived based on exempt status, similar to waivers granted by or for city business license tax. Is that exempt under CEQA and exempt under what?
It would be basically a nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
City of Grove, for instance, has a similar.
Okay.
Right now, we currently have the ability to waive the business license tax for a nonprofit as long as we can show that an individual is not profiting from.
Right. So is there a list of exempt status entities in the business license section, or where's the list?
There is, and they do have to provide the support that shows that they are a nonprofit organization. So when they filled out their applications, we would expect that they would have the same type of paperwork. But it gives staff members the ability, instead of coming back to council, the intent was we did not want to waive the fee for various merchants, but if there were a nonprofit organization, we wanted to have that ability.
Boy Scouts wanted to sell Christmas trees and so forth, right? Okay.
Any further questions? Okay, looking for a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Campion, second by Vice Mayor Payne. Any further discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne? Aye. Councilmember Hewer?
Aye.
Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Power?
Aye.
Mayor Cruz?
Aye.
Thank you.
Moving on to the strategic plan. We'll start off with enhance and maintain infrastructure and facilities. Well, it looks like we've done that. At the August 18th, 2015 City Council meeting, Councilmember Barbara Payne and Mark Cruz, working with the management team and the Sacramento Public Library Authority, will develop conceptual recommendations and present to the City Council for direction, physical expansion of the library facility. We are on target, and it looks like we're going to be moving forward with the vote tonight. Moving on to the next is enhanced economic development. At the November 3rd, 2015 City Council meeting, the Community Development Director will obtain feedback from affected property owners regarding potential city-initiated annexation of expanded industrial park and Twin Cities Highway 99 commercial, and present the results to the City Council. Are we on
Yes, we are. We're on track. At this point, I've finalized, working with Jason, the list of property owners and registered voters out in the two areas that we're looking at. And we'll go ahead and get a workshop set up, basically, or I should say an open house, actually. We'll send out the invitations to those folks. The purpose of the open house will be to basically not only educate the attendees on the application process, but also to let them know why it's beneficial to basically annex into the city at this time, and then finally to gauge their reaction, whether they want to support the city or not. And we'll go ahead and basically finalize the study areas, so to speak, the annexation areas, and then we'll go ahead and report back to you after a meeting with LAFCO about whether or not we should proceed with the annexation time. And we do anticipate meeting the November deadline if not coming back close.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Moving on to improve financial stability. Mr. Behrman, what do you got for us? It's your last report. Go for it.
All right. This item was originally to discuss the new transfer station out of the wastewater treatment plant. Cal Waste is moving forward with a expansion of their materials recovery facility, the MRF, the recycling center, as well as the transfer station and their existing facility over on Enterprise Court. And so there's an environmental document, conditional use permit that's moving forward. I think it's going to the Planning Commission on the 20th, Thursday. And then on September 1st, we're planning on taking two items to the City Council. One is a host fee agreement that helps mitigate some of the impacts of the expansion of those facilities, as well as some changes that need to be done just to our permit in order to accommodate that. So you'll see some action coming forward at the next September 1st City Council meeting.
All right. Next up is attract, develop, and retain quality employees. You're up again.
Again? I thought you said it was done.
Well, you said the report was done. It's a continuation.
So this is just an update. I know the council's aware, it's more for the community probably, that we are going to put the hiring of the police chief. Unfortunately, the chief next to me here has agreed to stay on and help the city while the city recruits for a city manager. Chief Drummond will be here in the interim, and then the city will start the recruitment for the police chief. Not when at the same time, but it will follow, so to allow the city an opportunity to get the manager in place so that he can have the ability to hire the next police chief. So that will probably, new city manager, I think the council's hoping to have that decision made in December, and then the police chief probably sometime in the early part of 2016.
Okay, thank you. Next is enhanced cultural and youth activities, and this one's very near and dear to Vice Mayor Payne, so be very careful. Mr. Winkler.
This objective was to complete the Harvey Park improvements that are funded by a housing grant fund that the city received, and there were, I believe, 11 projects that were identified, and Harvey Park garnered a number of those. Playground equipment has been delivered. We ordered it, brought that to council for award sometime back. And I believe pending later this week, we've got some city crews and some volunteer crews that are going to start assembling and putting together that new playground equipment. And the goal is to have that completed before our Heritage Festival coming up, and we're on track to do that. The final major task that will not be completed by the original October 1st date I think we had, is the bathroom itself. We have received quotes for that work. We'll be likely bringing back perhaps at the September 1st meeting, if we can pull it together, some recommendations relative to how we might proceed with contracting for a turnkey bathroom installation. And we're putting together those recommendations as we speak. What we were informed, however, is that we're probably looking at a 90-day lead time on fabrication and delivery for installation. So we're not going to make an October 30th date, even in the best case scenario. But if we do opt, with your approval, for some expedited contracting processes, with our forthcoming recommendations, we might be able to have those done by the end of the year.
Very good. Thank you. Moving on to the last one, which is improve long-term water sustainability. Mr. Winkler.
The objective we're highlighting tonight is to implement a water meter transition plan and rate study. We did bring this to your council at the previous meeting, and we have awarded a contractor out to Telus. We held a kickoff meeting. We're working on preliminary forwarding lots of data to them on our water usage, on our current ratepayer base, on how much is commercial, how much is residential, and we're also giving them some of the new, recently available water meter data for some of the new areas of town as we're migrating towards fully installing those meters citywide. And so we actually tentatively set a council and public study session. Tentatively, I believe October 6th, an late afternoon meeting. So we welcome the public to come, and between now and then we've got a lot of work to do to crunch all that numbers and put together some potential rate options. And the goal was primarily to make sure that our current water rates were sustainable as we continue in a very austere conservation mode and mandated reduction percentages above 30%. The goal is not primarily to raise rates, it is to assure that we don't lose revenue to the point where we cannot continue to operate the water system. One possible rate component would be, obviously, we borrowed some $4 million to put in the water meters, and we've got to figure out how we're going to pay that back as part of this study as well. And then there's some longer-term goals that we're looking at as part of the study relative to how we're going to deal with arsenic projects moving forward. We'll also be revisiting that as part of the wastewater treatment facilities financing plan, which we're working on and hope to be bringing to you over the months ahead. So we've got a lot of work to do. I welcome council and public to a October 6th study session to hear all about what we've come up with in the months ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. Moving on to the next item, City Attorney's Office, the government crime policy coverage for city officers.
Good evening again, Mayor and council members. Under state law and local ordinance, all appointed and elected officials are required to post a bond called a performance bond in order to protect the city against inappropriate conduct, like things like embezzlement of public funds. And there's also an option under state law for the city to purchase a blanket performance bond. And the third option is for the city to obtain an insurance policy, and it's called a government crime policy, which protects the city from that same type of inappropriate conduct. It's the third option that the city has been utilizing over the last several years. We do, in fact, have a government crime policy. The protection to the city is in the amount of $1 million under the policy. Unfortunately, the municipal code does not match exactly the way that we have been doing business. It currently provides for a performance bond. So the item before you this evening is an amendment first to the municipal code to provide an option of either a blanket performance bond or a government crime policy at the discretion of the city council, determined from time to time by resolution. And then the second part of the recommendation presented this evening is for the council to actually adopt a resolution approving a government crime policy coverage and establishing the amount of coverage at $1 million, which matches of the level of protection that we currently have. So it's really a cleanup item to bring us in line with the manner in which we currently protect the city. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Okay, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
A motion by Councilmember Powers, do I have a second?
Second.
You guys want to flip a coin? Second by Vice Mayor Payne. Any further discussion? Can you call for the vote, please?
Vice Mayor Payne? Aye. Councilmember Hewer? Aye. Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Powers? Aye. Mayor Cruz?
Aye, unanimous. All right, moving on to Culture and Recreation Department. Amend the definition of a Galt-based youth sports organization. Mr. Solis.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council again. On May 24th, 2011, City Council adopted resolutions establishing fees for the Walker Community Park and the definition of a Galt-based youth sports organization. Galt-based youth sports organization that enrolls in our player user fee program at the cost of $10 per registered player are allowed to use City of Galt facilities for no additional cost and receive a reduced rate of $20 per hour for field lights. Since 2011, enrollment in the player user fee program by these sports organizations has increased from 7 organizations to 11, and from 1,364 players in 2013 to 1,662 players in 2014. So we're getting quite a bit of kids and organizations using our fields. With this increase in enrollment, use of the city's sports facilities has greatly increased. Not only has there been an increase in usage by the Galt organizations, but there's also been an increase by out-of-town teams that come into town to play our organizations. And in some instances, there's been cases where 2 non-Galt teams were playing on the same field with the fee being waived because of the rental being reserved by a Galt-based organization, kind of like a round robin. Or a playoff system. Specifically, a playoff system is what I'm referring to. Another significant issue that has arisen due to the increased enrollment is the player user fee program. In the player user fee program is that nearly 30% of some of these organizations are comprised of non-Galt residents, kids from Elk Grove, Lodi, Stockton, not necessarily Wilton and Campbell, but those towns to the north and south of us. The intent of the player fee, user fee program was to allow Galt youth to use City of Galt athletic fields and lights at a reasonable cost. That was the intent in 2011. In an effort to address the increased usage of the City of Galt athletic fields by organizations that were not paying fees, staff recommended that the Parks and Recreation on February 11, 2015, that the definition of a Galt-based youth organization be revised to 90% of their players live within the Galt Joint Union District, high district boundary, and a Galt-based youth organization team must be participating in a game for fees to be waived. After much discussion at that meeting regarding the 90% requirement, the commission directed staff to work with 2 commissioners to meet with all of the youth groups that participate in the player user fee. That meeting was held on March 3rd. Staff invited 6 of the major active youth groups that participated in the player user fee program. 5 of the 6 were in attendance at the meeting, with only the junior warriors not represented. The other 5 were the Galt FC, Junior Hawks football, County Line Youth Soccer, Galt Youth Baseball, and Galt Elite. At that meeting, the representatives, along with staff and the 2 commissioners, agreed to the following. 1, revise the definition of a Galt-based youth sports organization to the following. Organization's address is in the city, in the Galt city limits, and 80% of the players live within the Galt Joint Union High District boundary. And 2, require a participating Galt-based youth organization team participate on any City of Galt proposed sports facilities for the fee to be waived. On April 8th, we took that recommendation to the commission, and it was voted 3-0 with 2 commissioners absent to recommend to City Council. So before you we ask that you approve the recommendation of the definition of the Galt-based youth sports organization.
Thank you, sir. Questions, council? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Payne,
Second.
second by Councilmember Powers. Any further discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne? Aye. Councilmember Hewer? Aye. Councilmember Campion?
Aye.
Councilmember Powers? Aye. Mayor Cruz?
Aye. Okay, unanimous vote. Moving on to human resources. New classification of facilities supervisor and building maintenance worker. Ms. Isles.
Evening, Mayor,
Okay,
Council. I have to recuse myself. Which one was it you were just doing?
You're on it.
Did you? Okay. I have to recuse myself, so I'm going to leave. I shall return.
Go ahead. Okay. It recently came to our attention that the job descriptions for the Parks Maintenance Supervisor and Parks Maintenance Worker 3 may not accurately reflect the duties of the incumbents that are assigned to the facilities maintenance position. So what we did is we conducted a classification study for these two positions. This was conducted by an outside consultant. And this analysis determined that these two positions should not be in a classification entitled Parks. The term doesn't properly describe their responsibilities, nor does it properly describe their area of assigned work. So before you tonight are proposed job descriptions that focus on the needed semi-skilled trades and crafts for actual building maintenance work. I've also revised the parks job descriptions and removed the facility maintenance functions to better reflect what is done in the parks area. In addition to the change in job description, it's recommended that the building maintenance worker position, the salary be 5% above the Parks Maintenance Worker 3 position. And so if approved tonight, the individual that will be reclassified into the building maintenance worker position will receive the 5% increase effective on July 1, 2015. Again, so what is recommended tonight are new facilities maintenance job descriptions and proposed changes to existing park maintenance positions, reclassify one parks maintenance worker supervisor to facilities supervisor, and a parks maintenance 3 position or worker into the building maintenance worker position, and finally approve the recommended salary range for the building maintenance worker position.
Thank you.
I know that was an overview. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions from council?
I don't know if my agenda got messed up or because I look under the park maintenance worker 1, 2, 3, and I go to the page 2, but it starts out with park maintenance supervisor, so I don't know that I have a. It starts at the bottom of the parks maintenance worker 1, 2, and 3. It's the last title section is examples of duties, and it gives one. I suspect there's more than one example of duties. So I don't know where. Because the last page of it refers to again park maintenance supervisor. So I don't know. I just maybe wasn't in the agenda. 1, 2, 3. I don't have the last page. No, it says supervisor.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it does look like it says the parks maintenance supervisor.
Yeah, the description of duties talks about reviewing contracts, so I'm assuming it is a supervisor.
Yeah, I don't know. That is yeah. That,
It doesn't affect the report, but I was curious as to look for comparison purposes, but it wasn't in.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I don't know how that, yeah, it's like this duplicate of the maintenance supervisor position. But again, it would be very similar to this, is it's just taking the building,
You were just deleting those sections, yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Any further questions? Have a motion.
So moved to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hewer, second by Councilmember Campion. Any further discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Payne. Aye. Councilmember Hewer. Aye. Councilmember Campion.
Aye.
Mayor Cruz.
Aye. With Councilmember Powers recusing herself, we have a unanimous vote. Okay, can we have her brought back in? Thank you. Okay, moving on to communications. City Clerk's report.
Just a couple calendar items. We have on August 20th, the Beautification Committee meeting here at City Hall Community Room. August 27th is the Commission on Aging over at Parks and Rec in the California Room. And then on August 29th, we have the Galt Heritage Festival at the Harvey Historical Park, which brings us to the next City Council meeting, September 1st, here in Council Chambers.
Okay. Comments by staff. We'll start over here with Mr. Stewart. Anything?
Just real quick, also to add to the calendar, as we mentioned earlier, we've got the Special Planning Commission meeting Thursday, and the topic will be the
Okay.
that will go well, and otherwise, we continue to meet with Eastview. Get that all wrapped up and good Planning Commission and Council for the next month or two. L&L is just about complete and open, and seen the gas station, they're cranking right along too.
They are.
All in discussions with Starbucks.
Believe it when I see it. Mr. Winkler. All right. New business? Nothing? Mr. Solis.
Yes, I'd like to acknowledge Hannah Bullock. She's a graduating senior from Liberty Branch High School. Part of her senior project was to collect money. She collected $100 and donated it towards our scholarship fund. So I just wanted to acknowledge her in this meeting.
Awesome. Chief Drummond.
Oh, thank you.
It's your last chance.
Any parting shots? No. I think I've said everything.
On camera or off?
Thank you again. Thank you for this evening, and thank you for the privilege of working with you, and good luck and good night.
Should we turn off the lights? The party's over.
Party just began.
Mr. Rudolph.
The show will go on.
Yes. It shall. Okay, well, we'll move on to council. Start down here with Mr. Campion.
Any update on Littleton Kitchen?
None that are very encouraging, other than we continue to try to process that in on a timeshare basis with the other projects we're trying to deliver. We are getting close to going back out and getting some additional flow for the project.
Okay. Councilor Powers.
Nothing.
Nothing? Councilor Hewer.
Do we have any update on the railroad, on the quiet zone, when they're going to quit blowing the whistle?
They do the improvements first.
Yeah.
We've got the encroachment permit. I thought it was supposed to start within the next week or two.
Well, so the update is, again, more delays. I think at one point there was a joke about we'd have it by Christmas, but we just weren't sure which year. Christmas is looking more like a reality for this year. The flagmen that are mandatory by UP as part of our encroachment permit with the railroad are not available until late September. So that will be when the crossing work will begin to get the various road crossings. And you won't see much before then other than some prep work and maybe some lab. So what we thought was going to start this month is actually being deferred into a month from now to get that project going. That's the bad news. The good news is it's only about 2 weeks worth of work to get this done. Of course, then we have to jump through the regulatory final permitting and approvals of the PUC to actually order the train to go silent. Process ahead of us once we get the physical improvements completed.
Thank you.
Okay.
And again, just to say goodbye, Jason. It was on the consent agenda, so I just wanted to make sure that the community knows that Mr. Rudolph is going to serve as our interim city manager, and how pleased we are about that, how pleased I am about that. So I just wanted the community to be aware, because it was on the consent agenda, so they might not have been aware. So thank you very much for stepping up, Mr. Rudolph, and helping us out during this transition. The other thing is, on September 5th, just so the community knows that I guess the Galt Chamber of Commerce is going to hold a food truck event in the Old Town section of Galt. So I think that'll be really exciting, 5 to 8 p.m. Sounds like a really neat event, a first time for Galt. So they're really popular in other areas. So it'll be a nice event.
Good. Okay. Vice Mayor Payne.
I wanted to do a visual of the Galt Heritage Festival, so here it is. And read from it a little bit and enjoy entertainment on stage, including music, dancing, and storytelling. Travel to historical sites in Galt on an open-air trolley. Great food and a beautiful park setting will make the Heritage Festival a family tradition. But in addition to this, and a very important thing, we're going to be honoring and recognizing Roy Herberger and the Galt Herald, and we'll be giving him a plaque and a little stroll down memory lane of his history as a newspaper person. So I hope you'll all come out and help us have a good time, but help us honor Roy Herberger.
Okay, awesome. As for me, I'd like council's permission to bring the request for use of discretionary funds at the next meeting for the military banner program.
Okay.
Okay. And the last thing is, I just want to reiterate what everybody else has said. Jason, it's been a very bumpy ride, but it's been an enjoyable ride. I would not give it up. Like I said, I've made a great friendship out of this. I hope it continues. Good luck in what you do in Oak Grove. Just don't take any of our businesses away, okay? And with that, if there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.